Everyone, it's me Jojo. I am so excited to be live today doing one of my beauty expert interviews. This one has been a long time coming and I can't wait to share with you all the tea. Now, let me begin by pinning the incredible Miss Lucy Goff live with... So hi everyone. We are going to be talking about all things Lyma today. If you guys know anything about skincare, you know I am a skincare obsessive. Give me a moment live with. Let's see if I've got this working today. Whenever I start these damn things, I always get things totally slow at the beginning. Right, let's try it again. Live. There we go. So let me pan. How is everyone doing? Isn't it the hottest day of the bloody year? Oh my god, it is so hot today. There we go. I think we're starting. Is everyone doing okay? I'm in super natural glam today because we're going to be talking all things skincare. And I'm so excited to actually be sharing with you the #1 laser. This one is literally one of the products that I think everyone in the skincare industry has been going insane about. And to bring on the founder, Miss Lucy, I am so excited to chat today. So off we go. Hello. I'm just on my way to inviting the incredible Lucy Goff into here. Let's see if we can do it. Lucy. So is everyone enjoying this intense heat? It is so today. It's going to be so good. This is literally going to be one of my dream interviews because for the last, I think since 2018, I've been obsessed with this brand Lyma. And what I wanted to do today is bring you guys a little bit of the behind the scenes of the brand so you can learn with me about the story. We can talk all things laser and we'll see if I've done this right. Now, whenever I do these lives, it takes a minute to send everyone the word that I'm online. So let's see how we're doing. Is everyone doing okay? It is so hot today. I've actually got the fan on. If any of you guys, if you can hear a whirring, that's what this is. It's just the fan because I cannot bear. Hello!
Oh, hello. Sorry, I'm just putting my volume up.
Can you hear okay?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm sweltering. It is so hot down here in Brighton.
I'm jealous that you're in Brighton. We're in London.
Oh,
At
oh
least you're
my
by
God.
the sea.
At least I'm about to go. I'm in a little bit of the pocket of the countryside. I'm actually in a village, so I'm just outside the seaside bit, near the South Downs.
My God. Dive in the sea. Go to France.
I know. How are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining me
No,
today.
thank you for having me. Excited to, I mean, I love your work.
Oh,
And
oh,
you
that
can,
means so much.
how you make people look like they do. It's amazing.
Oh, that means so much to me. I've been a fan of Lima since you launched, since I first saw the supplement adverts on Facebook in 2018. I was like, I have to work with this brand. So I've been so excited for this one.
No, the supplement is amazing, especially for sleep and stress. It's unbelievable. And I guess it was really difficult to find our next product was actually really difficult to bring to market because it was what was going to be on the level of the supplement, which is why it took a long
Are
time.
you
But
okay with me diving in with some questions
yeah,
about the supplement?
yeah, dive in, dive in.
Yeah. So, where did your start in the beauty industry begin? Because I know you were working in the industry in a different way before, but I'd love you to give a little bit of tea about that.
Yeah, so it was never my plan to launch a business at all. I was doing the PR for Selfridges, so I just remember I used to stand in the beauty hall launching really big brands, so Joe Malone and all these really incredible big brands. And I think subconsciously I was always thinking, what are the elements that go into making a brand really successful? What brings a brand into the Selfridges beauty hall? And there's lots of different elements when you think about it. And it was really, I remember standing there and Joe Malone was launching. And I remember thinking, isn't it so clever that she's like repurposed the candle that you just got from a supermarket and packaged it in a different way and added a scent and like made it really beautiful. And then all of a sudden, like the candle became a lifestyle statement for the home. And it's kind of like, you know, I remember when I first had the idea to launch Lyma as a supplement, and it was really after the birth of my daughter. I caught septicemia. I was really, really ill.
God.
And it was really only through my journey to recovery that I was introduced to these incredible pharmaceutical grade ingredients that really helped me at a time that I needed help. And that was really the premise for the product of Lyma as a supplement. But I was thinking, you know, like what other elements can I put into this to make supplements into a lifestyle statement? Because at that point, everyone just had supplements in a cupboard in their kitchen or their bathroom.
Right.
And it was kind of like, what are the elements that I can really bring this to life? Supplements don't have to be boring. They don't have to be placed in a cupboard, just as a candle didn't have to be placed in a cupboard. And so that was really kind of the idea of how we brought bringing Lyma as a brand to life, with the copper vessel, you know, something that's really beautiful that you're proud to have your supplements in, that it kind of resonates with you. Everything down to the name, you know, everything was thought through. And that was kind of how Lyma came into being.
That way, it's so interesting you're mentioning that the vessel is copper, because bizarrely, I just was in Helsinki and there's this incredible modern church that's entirely covered in copper. And I found the experience of being in that space so sort of transcendent compared to like one of the oldie worldy churches. And I've been researching copper. So is there any like deliberate purpose about copper?
Yeah, I mean, copper is a natural element and it's also an antibacterial. So it was kind of, I guess, and it kind of all fits into the name as well, because copper, you know, is part of the, you know, it's kind of been growing in the ground for like thousands of years. And Lyma, the name, actually means the origin or the source in ancient Greek. And I think that there was something kind of quite special about the time and the preciousness of this metal that had taken, you know, thousands of years to actually become into fruition, and marrying that against kind of the future of technology to make the ingredients in the formula actually biologically active inside the body. So I guess it's like Lyma is the point that the past and the present collide. And I think that that's something that's really powerful. And especially because the products that we've brought to market are, I guess, you know, to a certain extent, they're aimed at people who want to undergo change. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like, you know, whether you can't sleep, whether you're stressed, whether you have got a scar that you want to get rid of, whether you're not happy with the way your skin looks. These are all elements of change that your body's going through. And I think that that was kind of the point that I wanted to focus on, is, you know, the bringing the elements from the past, bringing technologies of the futures, and it's kind of the moment they collide. And that was the moment that kind of the catalyst for change.
Wow. I mean, I think like supplements are such a divisive thing in the industry sometimes, because I remember I did a biochemistry master's to learn how to make makeup. And when I grew up in a family that never used medication, they went to holistic medicine. So when I started to ask questions to the professors about like how they introduced elements of that holistic thing into skincare development, or they were almost very dismissive about it. And it was the way that I was brought up. So I knew there was like evidence that it worked. I didn't understand until I got to that space, like how difficult making bioactive supplements are and to prove that they're effective, because it is a whole minefield, isn't it?
It is, and I think, you know, it's one. I think that people and consumers are kind of channeled into the wrong areas. So, like, you know, organic. You know, like people go, oh well, it's organic, it must be amazing. And, you know, just because something's organic just means that it was that plant extract was grown without a pesticide. It doesn't mean to say it's going to be biologically active inside your body,
Or
survive
good.
your digestive process, or anything or upload into your plasma or do anything. You know, organic should be a given that, you know, what you're taking has got no kind of nasties in. And I guess it's kind of, there is a lot of misconception in the supplement industry because fundamentally over 90% of the industry doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because there's no regulation, there's no legislation that means that you have to put something out that does work. You know, there's a lot of toxicity, there's all types of problems that go in on the market. You know, multivitamins have not really been proven, fish oils have not been proven in the state that they're delivered. You know, turmeric is not even bioavailable. So there's a whole host of issues. And I guess that's what I was adamant that I wanted to cut through, and just, which is why we exclusively formulate with patented, peer-reviewed ingredients that are all dosed at proven levels. And nobody else was doing that because it's actually really expensive to bring to market. So it doesn't fit into the commercial structure that people think that they expect to pay for a supplement. So yeah, you know, Lyma costs more. But that's why I benchmarked it at like £5 a day, because I felt that if you had to make a choice, there are a lot of things in our life that we could go without, for £5 a day. You know, like, I mean, I cringe at some of the things that I spend money on. You know, it could be a lunch out that I could have just made a sandwich, or I don't know, whatever it is. You can always kind of make your money work a bit smarter in the main. So I guess that was why we capped it at £5 a day, which, you know, and I guess when we launched the Lyma supplement, you know, we're a very, very small company. It was just me of one. And producing very small quantities. And now that, you know, we've scaled it, it's a big company, we've never put our prices up. So, you know, we've made that commitment to make it as much value as we can to customers, and we've actually added 3 ingredients into the formula, and you know, we've kind of kept this £5 a day benchmark.
So with the benefits of the supplements are what? Because obviously they are great for things like sleep, that was the reason that attracted me initially, because I'm a chronic insomniac, and until I started to really figure out what was working for me, and I guess it's like an individual exploration, you can't trust this information, but when you have the combination that you've created, there are so many benefits.
Yeah. And I think it's not about taking an ingredient singularly and thinking, well, I'll just take this ingredient or I'll just take that ingredient. If something's formulated correctly, and ours has been formulated by Professor Paul Clayton, who's one of the world's greatest longevity experts, you know, you have to look at it in its entirety and look at the way that the different actives kind of work as a group. And, you know, I guess we didn't set out, you know, I did, when I launched a company, I didn't know who was actually going to buy it. You know, like you have this vision of who you think is going to buy it and what you think you're going to change. And then when you launch it, everything kind of changes. Yeah. And it's quite interesting actually, because by far the biggest demographic of people that we have changed the lives of are when people reach their midlife. You know, whether you reach the andropause or whether you reach the menopause, your hormones change, and it's that kind of slow. I call it a slow crash, which doesn't really make any sense, but it's kind of a slow crash of your hormones, and your sleep is totally affected in a way that it never has done before. And so, for people who are going through that midlife change, you know, HRT is brilliant, and there are various pharmaceuticals that are available. But, you know, if you don't want to take an antidepressant, if you don't want to take sleeping tablets, if you want to kind of navigate a natural way through, then, you know, then there are solutions available.
Absolutely, and I think that I've always been fascinated with hormones because I consider myself a trans person, and when I went through my puberty, my hormones were totally irregular for what a boy should have been. So
Scary.
it is completely and utterly like a maelstrom, and a lot of my communities were trans. I always saying like, you don't just have to go through the medicinal route, try all these holistic things, and there are bioactives. I just, before we move on to the laser, which is one of my favorite things in the world, by the way, what is bioactive supplements versus the supplements that you buy in Boots? Because I think there's this sort of mystique around what supplements do, and you just take them and they're all the same, and it's so not true. So could you explain a little bit about what the bioactive agent, like, well, how does that work functionally?
Yeah, I think once you ingest an ingredient, so obviously your body is made to eat food, and that's how it's designed to. It's designed to consume food, and there's a whole digestive system that it goes through, and everything it's like a whole machine.
Yeah.
But when you take a supplement ingredient, you're taking a single powder. Now that powder has to be water and fat soluble, because there's water and fat in your digestive tract. It has to be stable in your body's temperature. It has to survive it has to survive the acid in your stomach and be able to upload into your plasma.
Mm-hmm.
So for that to happen, the natural ingredient that you're taking often has to have kind of technology infused into it and delivery systems to infuse into them to make sure that that happens.
Right.
And when you, and often that's with an ingredient that's kind of been upgraded from its organic state. So it might be that it's, you know, if you take turmeric, for example, turmeric's only fat soluble. So you have to make it water soluble as well. And to make it, it's not enough just to make it water soluble. You've got to make sure that, because in a lot of the water soluble turmerics, what they don't tell you is the majority of the ingredient is made up of the carrier system that makes it water soluble, leaving a very, very small amount of the curcuminoids. So, which is why, you know, you've kind of got to look for lots of different, I mean, for instance, like liposomal is a very, it's a very old form of making something 100% water soluble. And when it's liposomal, a lot of the ingredient is actually just made up of the carrier system, which is why we use a different technology called lipisperse, which actually only accounts for 10% of the total ingredient. So for the first time, you can get like a really large amount of curcuminoids from taking quite a small dose. So
And that has the anti-inflammatory benefits and so on.
Yeah, so which is why we use hydrocurc, which is the, you know, which has got the highest amount of curcuminoids per daily dose. So
I
there's
need to
lots
get
and
some
lots of
more.
things. Yeah,
I've
I
run
mean, I
out.
can
I've
speak
run
about
out.
this all day.
It's just so fascinating. I think like when I first tried them, I noticed such an improvement in so many things: my stress, my sleep pattern, and the sleep for me is the biggest one. So I'm one of the people that have tried and tested it and it works. But let's talk about the Lyma laser, because the Lyma laser has been one of the most iconic new devices in the skincare industry in general. It is a home device that does not hurt, but is a laser. And I think I was talking to my friends about doing this interview because I was so excited to speak to you and ask you all these questions. But they were like, so what is it, like laser hair removal, or is it like dermapens? And I was like, no, you don't understand. Lasers are not all the same. So do you want to explain what the laser is, what it does, and how it's different?
Yeah. So basically, this uses low-level laser therapy. So low-level laser therapy was actually first discovered in the 1960s, and it was to deal with a load of issues that were going on beneath the skin surface. So like healing tendons, you know, helping to rebuild cartilage. There's a whole kind of host of benefits that they wanted to solve by using low-level laser therapy. So this technology has been used in hospitals since the 1960s to deal with a whole load of different issues. Whilst it was very effective to be in hospitals, nobody had engineered it into a powerful enough device to use in the home. And in reality, you've really got to use this technology every day for it to have a proper effect. So, which is why in the 1990s the LED market boomed, because scientists were looking for an alternative light source that was safe to use in the home. So LED and laser, although they are they're both forms of light. Laser light, obviously everybody knows what a laser beam is. It's like a needle. And LED is actually a non-coherent light source. It's a scattered light, a wavy light, and that's why it's used to light up rooms. But the problem with LED is it's got no biological penetration through dense tissue like skin. So whilst LED is amazing at the very top of the surface of your skin, it will have a biological effect. So it can give you a glow. It can't penetrate into the dermis biologically without having lost all of its power. So that's the difference between this laser and LED, is that in order to regenerate skin, the light has to be able to reach the dermis, which is the base layer where the fibroblasts are.
Right.
And this device has got a 5 centimetre biological penetration.
5 centimeters. And so when this red light is not the laser, what we are seeing is just a guide
this red light is just the LED to tell you the device is switched on. So it uses near-infrared cold laser light, and near-infrared is invisible to the human eye. And that's why you'd never know whether the device was switched on or not if you didn't have a power indicator to tell you the device is switched on. So that's how it's different to LED. How it's different to all other at-home lasers, whether they are painless or not. Those lasers, basically, even if they're not painful lasers, how they work is they heat up the water tissue around your cells to between 3 and 4 degrees. And that little increase in heat stimulates damage that stimulates collagen production. So that works in that way. This does not work in this way.
Exactly.
The Lyma laser does not rely on any damage at all. How it works is when the light hits the fibroblasts, it triggers a genetic switch inside each of your cells. And the cells that are associated with aging are switched off, and the cells that are associated with renewal are switched on. And that's why you need to use it every day, because fundamentally what you're doing is you're switching on more and more and more and more cells that just naturally died off as part of the aging process.
Right.
And you're empowering your skin to behave like before the aging process set in.
So you're reinvigorating.
Yeah, it doesn't rely on any damage, and it's the only laser technology that actually works biologically inside your cells. So that's kind of why it's different. It doesn't rely on any form of heat damage or any form of damage. It just renews your cell, which is actually it actually works epigenetically, which is obviously epigenetics is where you can change obviously you can never change your genes. You're born and you die with the same genes, but as you age, your body's ability to read your genetic masterboard slowly declines. And it's rather like a piano going out of tune. And you might get some genes that should be down-regulated that start to be up-regulated, and some genes that should be up-regulated start to be down-regulated. And when a couple of them go out of kilter, when a couple of notes on the piano go out of kilter, you can still play a piece and it will sound very nice. But if half the notes are out of tune, then you play the piano piece and the whole thing sounds a bit rubbish. And that's why as you age and more genes are not working in the way that they should be working, your skin doesn't function from an aesthetic level like it did.
I love that analogy.
So, and you get wrinkles, things like that.
I've been studying epigenetics this week. It's so bizarre. And I like, someone was describing like your genes as like a cookbook, and the epigenetics like the notes that things give you.
Yes.
And like, I thought that was so interesting, because it was like, even when you smoke, it turns off some of the receptors that can prevent you from having lung cancer because of the chemicals in cigarettes. So it's like all of these things in epigenetics are so clever. And the fact that we've got this at home because I started my YouTube career in, well, I originally started doing non-beauty content 2007, but I started doing beauty content around 2012, and I got sent loads of the initial IPL devices that were on the market at that time. And even they had massive battery pack things. They had the laser hair removal, but well, not laser hair removal, the hair removal. It would take 10 seconds to recharge. They would be so big and sort of like a pain to use, but this is battery powered.
Yeah, I
How
mean,
is that?
actually, when Professor Paul Clayton, because he discovered this technology in Germany, he was looking at a 62-year-old man's knees that have been treated to rebuild cartilage inside one of his knees using low-level laser therapy. And there was a whole team of doctors in the room, and all the doctors were at one end of the room looking at the x-ray of the knee that had been treated over the 3 months and how much the cartilage had been improved. And he was at the other end of the room, and he was looking at the photograph of the skin on the knee that had been treated, and he noticed that the skin on the knee that had been treated looked about 20 years younger than the skin on the other knee. And that's when he realized that, you know, a lot of the light device industry was just LED. Or like damaging lasers, and this was something that was a whole new opportunity. And he showed me the big clunky hospital machine that they'd been using, and he said, you know, if we can re-engineer this big hospital machine into a little device, and I was like, well, if it's going to be little, it's got to fit into like one of those little Chanel 2.55 bag, you know, like a very little bag. And we brought this amazing laser professor on who did just that. And, you know, the laser professor was saying, actually, a lot of in-clinic machines, they're very big, but the piece of technology inside of it is often quite small. So it wasn't as difficult as we thought it was going to be to re-engineer this technology into a little device.
Oh my God. I'm just like, it's so fascinating. You always find out like these amazing things like come by accident. Sometimes like looking at the skin texture on a knee that's being treated for something quite different, but then it's like, aha, we know what to do with this now.
Yeah.
It's just genius. So some of these come in blue and some of them come in red, and that does not make a difference to the laser, does it?
Well, none of them now come in blue. When we first launched the Lyma laser, it had a blue switch on light. So the light that told you the device was switched on was a blue switch on light. And that's how we first launched the laser, because blue has got although it's just an LED, superficially it's got antibacterial properties in it. And then when we went for FDA clearance, the FDA said, well, you know, we can only give clearance if it's got a red switch on light, not a blue switch on light. So we started out and we had, you know, America was red and then the rest of the world was blue, and everyone was like, well, I want the blue one or I want the red one, and we were only allowed to ship the red one to certain countries. And so it was kind of like, we just made a decision. Let's make everything red and then everybody can have the same one. So
why did they not like the blue?
I don't know. It was something. It's lots of, you know, the FDA is quite a rigorous process to go through, and it's got lots of different rules for different reasons. So I don't know. It might be that, you know, red is probably more kind of associated with switch on. Maybe I don't know.
Possibly.
The red has nothing to do with the laser. They're both got near infrared lasers.
Exactly, because what we can see is just the guide, and what's going on is actually imperceptible to our eyes. So when we look at lasers, that we look in a spa, for example, to give layman's terms to the people watching, it does not do damage, and it's not the healing factor that's actually changing the texture of your skin, changing the format of your skin, changing the aging of your skin. The laser is triggering your skin to do it itself. So it's switching on your ability to heal, and by doing that the effects are just astronomical. Now this obviously had like a massive celebrity following when you launched, because it was available on Goop and people could not believe their eyes, because conventionally, when you think of laser, you think of like things like CO2 lasers, which are drastically, the downtime is astronomical. You think of things like laser hair removal that really hurts the beard area. It's got no pain at all. There's
No,
nothing about it that
it's got.
hurts.
I mean, you can even look at it. I mean, it's got retina protected technology inside of it, so you can treat around the eye area. It's amazing, and you just kind of like glide it. I mean, there isn't really a right or wrong way to use it. You can just use it however you feel comfortable, as long as the skin gets enough laser light each day. You can just kind of do it as you want. I always start with the jaw, because
Yeah.
the jaw. There's a plastic surgeon that once told me the jaw is what holds up your neck. So if you want a good neck when you're a bit older, you should always start with the jaw. So I always start on this muscle along here and make sure that I very, very slowly go over it 5 times, like up and down 5 times, and then I go up the face, and then I do the neck. But it's amazing. It kind of gives you a lift as you're going along.
It looks like your skin is being plumped up like you're using a hyaluronic acid product, because it does something instantaneously, and you're just like, oh my God, and you can use it safely on the
You've got
lips.
amazing skin.
Thank you, thank you. I've been using it. But there's another aspect of lasers that I think a lot of people are concerned with, and that's with the melanin of the skin. Now, I had laser hair removal. Where I've got more olive complexion, believe it or not. I
Yeah.
look white, but I don't have white skin. And when I had laser hair removal by a technician that was untrained, it burned my skin because it hit the pigment of my skin. So this laser is not anything like that. You can use this
No,
on
no, no.
black
It
skin.
doesn't. That's why it's actually safe to use and optimized for all skin types and tones. So if you've got black skin, if you've got brown skin, this is absolutely for you. You will not scar. There is no damage at all. And actually, if you have got a darker skin tone, you're more likely to have some form of pigmented scarring on
Exactly.
your skin, be it from a spot or whatever it was. And so if you just hold it over each section of the scar for 3 minutes a day, like in 12 weeks, the pigmentation will have gone.
It's extraordinary. And like where I had the damage done to my lower face, I had chunks where the beard wouldn't grow. And I've been using this routinely, and I've noticed that the hair patterns come back, which is just,
Yeah, so what it
that's
does, I
amazing.
never know that it was something to do, is it hair in the andro something
Yeah,
phase or whatever? Yeah.
yeah.
So as in, it will never make hair grow on areas that you're not, like, we're never gonna, you can put it on your forehead for as long as you want, it's never gonna make hair grow. But if you are naturally, so in a man, if you've got a beard, and that's supposed to grow longer, then it will stimulate the hair follicle to grow back stronger and better.
It was extreme. I used to have to paint on. I used to use a wire sponge, and I put eyeshadow in like the squares, because where the hair laser machine burnt me, there was squares that it didn't grow. So I was like trying to disguise this for about 2 years, and it's like when I tried this and it started to regrow things back, I was like, this is just amazing. This is like technology that I think everyone needs to know about, and I think especially because like sometimes within the beauty industry, we keep our secrets close to our chest, things that are really effective and work. People just want to keep them, so they're the prettiest one in the room.
Yeah,
But it is so important to educate people about what is now out there. We are living in the future. And this has been such an extraordinary one. I know the beauty sandwich facialist who does everyone for all the fabulous events
Ivan
uses
loves it.
too.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how do we actually functionally use them? Because it comes with this delivery system. So we got the mist spray and the glide. So we
Yeah,
use
so,
them.
well, you've got the mist. So what you do after you've cleansed, you you would spray the mist over your face, and then you can use it in 2 ways. You can use it with the mist and the glide. So the glide is very nice because it's got lots of plumping ingredients. It's got hyaluronic acid, it's got glycerol, it's got all these lovely ingredients that kind of plump your skin and help the laser glide for those that really want a big glide. And then you use the laser, you'd wipe off the glide and then follow with your skincare and makeup or whatever you're going to use. or you can just use it. You can use it with the Lyma skincare, which is you can do the mist and then the serum and the cream.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an epigenetic serum and cream that's been specifically formulated to work alongside near-infrared laser light.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an anti-aging serum and cream that you would just replace whatever you were using each morning and evening. Or the beauty of this device is that you can actually just use it over makeup, like during the day in a cab. You don't have to use it on clean skin. You can just use it like over makeup, and you know, if you put a spray on to set your makeup, it's not gonna ruin it. Or even, you know, you can use it over SPF, you can use it over anything. So it really just works for whatever you want, however you want it to work. Because lots of people have the skincare that they really like, or they might have a certain type of skin, and they've, you know, you kind of search for ages to find the one that works for you. So you can use it for whichever skincare. There's no contraindications at all. And you know, you might, I think that's kind of a way that you can factor it into your day. You know, it might be that you know that you are sat on a bus collecting the kids from school or something. You know, you've got half an hour each day where you're not doing something. So you can, instead of just scrolling on your phone, getting wrinkles on your neck from looking down, you can just use the Lyma laser.
Exactly. I do it while I'm doing my mindfulness. I have my mindfulness in the minute. And then I just feel like I've done something great. It's just extraordinary. So what it does to the skin is so many things. It can tackle pigmentation. It can restore lack of volume. It can change.
But the other thing that's really interesting is because it's got a 5 centimeter biological penetration, it regenerates the muscle that sits beneath the skin as well. And that's why you get such an amazing lifting effect, especially around the jaw and the jowls and the neck. And even like the, you know, your upper arms as you age. You know, these are areas where the skin just sits on top of whatever's beneath it. And if your muscles are sagging beneath it, then you can only do so much to your skin. And that's why this is so amazing, is because it will actually regenerate the muscle tissue that sits beneath the skin. So it gives your face a lift.
It's absolutely mad. And obviously you just launched the most incredible larger size one, the Pro, which has got a bigger thing. So what, does it just make the job quicker?
So the Pro is, it's not got FDA clearance, but basically the Pro has got 3 Lyma lasers engineered into one device.
3. Wow.
So it's got a larger surface area that's 3 times bigger. So it means that you can really treat your face and your body quicker. Right. And actually that's got a 12 centimeter biological penetration. So it's...
Shut up. Yeah. It's just amazing. It's like I sometimes I get like really freaked out that all these things exist, because I remember growing up and I used to think, oh my god, like video games have all these like technical gadgets, and now we're here. So what is the price point? What's the price point of this one and all the different products, so people at home can know?
So this is £1,999, but we've got a payment plan that you can split the payments. I think it's from about £150 a month over a 12-month period. But interestingly, the laser light in this device will last you 10 years. So it's a 10-year investment. And you just you just recharge the battery. So you take the, you just unscrew the lid, take the battery out, put it in its little charger, put it back in, and off you go. And then the skincare is, well, if you subscribe, you can actually get both of them. They're only sold together for £395 a month. The Laser Pro is really for professional clinics, but you can also buy it at home. Professional clinics would use 2 Lyma Pros. We've got people that have bought 2 Lyma Pros. And that is £4,995 for the one device. The supplements are £150 a month. And the mist and the glide is, I feel like I'm on QVC.
No, it's good. Everyone will buy it.
It's £99 a month.
Oh, it's so good. Well, Lucy, I am so honoured that you came on because I have been dying to work with Lyma for so long. I've been such a fan of everything.
Love to. When you're in London, come in.
I can't
Bring the
wait.
lift.
Yes, once I get through all my priorities and I'm working on London loads, so I'll send you a message and I'll pop up.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for having me.
And we can
It's such a
find,
joy to speak to you.
oh, you too. And we can find you on Instagram here. We can find Lyma Life, and I'll link everything when I re-upload this to YouTube in the description. Thank you,
Brilliant.
Lucy.
Thank
Have a
you
lovely
so,
rest
so
of the
much.
day.
You too. Lots of
Thank
love. Take
you. Take
care.
care.
Bye.